Excellent question. The brother said, why do our young people walk around with so much anger? I know because I went through it. The way a young person's supposed to come into the world is that they're supposed to have some direction, a mother and a father, men and women in their community that can prepare them to be successful in the world. It's very few of our children that grow up in a home with a father who is prepared to raise them to be independent, and a mother who is prepared to supplement that and raise them to have the confidence to deal with the world that we live in, and that teaches them that they're in a war for their survival and how to navigate these waters. So imagine you are in a war where the most powerful individuals on the planet are targeting you for destruction every day of your life, but nobody has explained to you what you're dealing with. You got to try to figure all this out on your own. A little black girl got to figure out, why is it that people talk negative about me because I'm dark-skinned? A little brother got to figure out, I'm black, and black people talk negative about me because I'm black and I have a wide nose, which is a black feature. So we got to understand, our children are going around not knowing, having no understanding of what's going on around them, and everything they've been given is just filth. And even though they follow what they've been given, all it brings them is pain. So what they listen to tells them to sell dope, and it's supposed to be great. But when they sell dope, they get locked up. Some of them get molested. Some of them get raped. Some of them just lose their ability to get a job later in life. So even if they do graduate, they can't get a job. And so they realize everything that I was given in my life that was supposed to help me make it in this world has only hurt me. So they're frustrated and they're angry. They got enemies all around them, but no one has identified them. So to them, their enemy is that N-word across the street. Or their enemy is their sister, that B or that hoe, she did this to me. And imagine, I spent most of my life studying. I have an understanding, so I can do this. Imagine what it's like being 8 years old or 12 years old, not knowing what kind of future you're going to have, and nobody's willing to tell you the truth about what you're dealing with and then prepare you to survive in this world to go beyond that. That's why our youth are upset and angry.
Also, you have to understand is that most families are not families. You have chaos inside the household with the man and the woman. You know what I'm saying? You have a position from slavery. Now, I just gave a lecture on the black family, the destruction and division of the black family. Now, these are one of the points that I made. Most of these dudes are studs. You know what the stud is? The stud was used on the plantation just to make babies. You know what I'm saying? He traveled from plantation to plantation. What he did was stick and move. Stick and move. And both of these young people or young brothers out here are sticking and moving. They don't care nothing about being responsible. They don't care nothing about taking care of them babies. They don't care nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? So this is a mental behavior. This is something that was taught on that plantation. We also have to understand this. When we're dealing with the black family, there's no love in that family. There's no love in their family. There's hatred. You know what I'm saying? There's hatred and confusion going on in this environment. So we got to understand that if there's no love in the house, if that mother don't grab that child when that child come home from school and say, honey, I love you, give me a kiss, or none of that. Or the kids don't see that in the household. They don't see nobody hugging and kissing each other. You know what I'm saying? And when we grew up, we would eat at the same table together as a family. So a lot of this has been transformed, and we don't do it anymore. So that's what the problem is.
I'm 24, and a lot of young black women don't know how to nurture anymore, because the black man is supposed to provide and protect. The black woman is supposed to nurture that man and lift him up so that he can go attack the world every day. These women are too busy because of years of being single mothers, and you know, those single mothers getting ahead, you know, they're saying, well, I don't need the man to provide and protect. I can be everything in one. I don't need that man for nothing. And that's where the problem really lies, because when a man approaches a woman, just like he was talking about, he's kind of unnervous. He's on edge, because what is the right thing to say to this woman to get her to realize that I'm approaching her from a position of respect? And that's really the problem.
I want y'all to consider something. And this is why I say it's important to understand and identify the enemy. This is what has happened. The way that it's supposed to work is that men are not only there to physically protect their families, but they provide direction. The men look and see what are the problems that are coming. Is police brutality going to become a problem in this community? Then they get with the men and start saying, okay, sisters, this is what you need to do because this is a problem. Or are there rapists in the community that are hurting children? Then they say, okay, look, these are the way that all the children are going to come home. In other words, men don't just provide physical protection. They look and see what the problems are. This is what has happened. While we've been smoking dope and selling dope in our community, violating our daughters and destroying them, and violating our women and destroying them, the whites have been busy financing black culture through music to teach the black woman to hate the black man. So that comes in the form of not just our music, movies like Color Purple and any number of them. And so what is happening in the books and the education system? So remember, this is a scientific process of genocide and deconstructing the race of people. Our women are taught through our making music, calling them bees and whores every day. I want you to think what we expect. Think about it for a minute. Since the 1980s, since NWA, the most common word in the black community to refer to a black woman is what? Bitch. All right, I want you to think about that for a second. The most common word, not used by whites, used by black males to refer to our own woman is what? Bitch in a hole. Those are women. Okay, right. But who started it? Right, but who told them to do that? The men of the leaders, remember, the men of the leaders. We came out and told our women to do that. So this is what's happening. And it's not your fault, but I'm saying our generation set a precedent of attacking our own women and left you with a situation that all we told you was that we was a bunch of ends, that's what you grew up listening to, and our women was bees and hoes. And you grew up calling them that. And now we expect a generation of black women who've been sexually abused, have not had men in the homes protecting the minds of our children saying, this is wrong, this is inappropriate, we're not going to watch television here, these are the things we're going to watch. We haven't been protecting their minds. So what has happened? So the whites have engineered through media in the minds of our women and miseducation and hiring them into jobs, putting them in jobs above us. They have engineered a situation where our women now are the tools to oppress us. Think about it. This is what they did. That means, okay, I'm glad he asked. Okay, I'll tell you how it worked like this. Go back to 1988, 1989. Public Enemy had us saying we were a family, we should be fighting for Africa, black man and woman should stand together. NWA came out and started attacking black women, calling them bees and hoes, and talking about us killing each other. So what happened then is that where we had support from the black women, now the individuals molesting her and raping her because the music is promoting that look like her. So now she's hurt because black males are sexually abusing her. Then the whites who set that all in place by putting it in our music, so now our women are adopting lesbianism, but even if it's not physical lesbianism, it's feminism, the hatred for black men. So where in 1988, it was the black race is in a war against the whites that are trying to keep us oppressed. Now, in the minds of our women, they turned a different button. And the white boy has stood in the background where he can't be seen and said, black woman, it's not a black war against the whites. It's a woman war against the man. See, once you study and understand what's going on with our people, it ain't no overnight process. It's a whole different thing because you're a different type of man. See, I'm telling you from experience, once you better yourself and understand this condition, when you approach a black woman, you're not the standard black male she's used to. You don't call bees and hoes. You don't use the N-word. But you're still a man and you're a protector and defender. You talk about sexual abuse in our community and how we need to stop it. She's probably been abused, so she hears that and go, man, this is the first brother I've heard that is interested on that level. You can talk about what's going on in Africa. You can talk about the different things going on in our community. You're a different type of man. And what will happen is you will start attracting different type of women, and no matter what woman you attract, when they hear you, if they're ready to receive real manhood, they will begin to listen, because women are attracted to strong, informed men, particularly black women. So you have the power in yourself to change it, but you first have got to really understand why your women are in that condition to even begin to have that conversation. Now her mind begins to open and she begins to deprogram what the whites have done and say, you know what? This is a black man and he may actually have some authority and he may have some information that can help me. He may even be able to provide guidance. He may actually be a man. And then is when our women, and the only time that our women begin to open up and give us a chance to be men again.
What's the first thing a people do when they conquer somebody? They take their woman. See, what we got to do is admit as men that the white man came into our house, kicked our ass, and took our women, and turned our women against us. See, we got to stop trying to blame the woman. Come on, man, we are the protectors. We are the protectors, brother. So we got to get our women back, stand up and kick his ass, and get our women back. That's the only way that the black woman is going to respect you and respect us. Yeah, they running wild. Yeah, they doing what they want to do because they not looking at a black man no more. We've been destroyed. We got to stand the hell up, like Brother Irritated Genie is saying, and take our women back. That's what we got to do, brothers. Stop blaming the females. Stop blaming our women.
Hey, and let's give that brother a round of applause for that. That's real. This is a very important thing, and I'm not defending the condition of our women. It's horrible. But I will say this. This is one of the main problems. Any other race of women on this planet, pretty much, can go outside and see what their men are doing for their race. I want to be honest. When the black woman walks outside, black males are walking with their pants hanging off their behind. Any man that won't protect his own behind cannot protect her. Black men are calling each other out of their names. Black men are switching, walking around bent wrists. Ask the brother right here, up here, what he thinks about homosexuality, and he's over here celebrating it. I think that it's great that men want to sodomize each other. Now, are we really expecting that black women are supposed to come out here and say, I really support these men, and the men don't even want no women? No, this is what we got to do as black men. I want to go back on, bounce off what Sonetta said. This is the reality. And we keep, I notice, and it's good we having multiple conversations, but I've done this a long time. I'm not saying this because it's my issue, it's our issue. The first step is to look the predators in the black community who molest our children in the eye and remove them from the equation. Until we deal with the rapists that molest our sons and daughters, anything we say about our condition will go on deaf ears. Our women cannot respect us until we remove those that are tormenting their souls. Even our sons can't respect us until we move on this. This is a centerpiece movement that every black man in this country needs to be considering. What are we considering ourselves to be men and expecting our women to respect us when the problem has been put on the table? Black-skinned sexual abusers are raping our children. And as men or males, we have not organized to prevent it from happening in our community. If and when we don't do that, anything else we're doing is just random talking. Let's get serious and say we can't fix everything overnight. But the basic foundational fundamental thing we can do as men is say nobody will get away with putting their hands in a sexual manner on our children. Period. Point blank. End of story. We're going to make this end. When we do that, you will be shocked at how many black women will look and say, wow, we really have men, and start to respect us and do like the brother said and want to nurture again. Our women will not nurture men that sit idly by and allow them to be sexually ravaged night after night and then go make money getting our women to defile themselves on poles at night and dance and shake in front of the world. What men use their own women as the sexual toilets for the rest of the world? We cannot get respect until we fix this problem. Africa is the mother of civilization. The black woman is the goddess and the black man is the god, and those are on the temples. Most Honorable Elijah Mohammad did not create that. He just gave it back to us in a way that we could do something with it. But the reality of it is our ancestors told us on the temples that we were gods and goddesses if we live by the right types of principles. So now what we have to understand is this. In 2014, we got to go back and understand that any religion that we practice that does not have a goddess principle is a faggot religion. No man by himself produces nothing. How can all of us come through the womb of a black woman? Now, one of us was born without a woman, yet in Christianity, you got a white God, and you got a Jesus getting born, and you got some magical Holy Ghost dude. No woman involved whatsoever, but you got life. How can in Islam, you just got Allah, and no woman at all, and you produce life? What is the problem? In Judaism, the same thing. But when we go to African spirituality, where every single one of these religions have stolen from, what do we find? We find that for every god, there was a goddess. And for every goddess, there was a god. Meaning what? We have lost our goddess principle. We think that it's something weak when we love and respect a woman. No. So you got to understand something from an African perspective. When you respect a woman, what that means is you have to protect and defend her. Which means when you look around your community and see your woman in a bad condition, you got to start hitting them weights. Because that means you got to go figure out what is causing that, and you got to go up against that force. We don't have a goddess principle, so we don't have to respect our mothers, our wives, or our daughters, which is why we see a bunch of punks running around in the black community doing nothing about our situation. When we get our goddess principle back and realize that it's the goddess and respect for the black woman, it's our respect for the black woman that will get us in a position where we will go and do what we need to do to fix our community. That properly educates our children to take power. All of these things are what our elder, peace be upon him, Amos Wilson, told us. Our economy is supposed to come out of our interests. But because we dancing around trying to be integrated with white folks or trying to be friends with every other race and have not decided, like other races, that this is a competitive world where each one is going to survive on its own, and it's a kill or be killed world that we live in, and we haven't decided that we can play this game of warfare just as good as everybody else, we cannot have group economics. Until we decide that this is warfare, and it's international warfare, and every blade of grass on the African continent belongs to us, every diamond in the ground, every piece of gold, and every debt that was owed to our ancestors that we got to collect, until we decide that it is warfare, there's absolutely no kind of substantial economy that we can produce and sustain on planet Earth. Because the minute we build some of wealth, they got guns and tanks to come take it. So we will be doing the same thing we've done in America over and over and over. But I want to challenge something that the brother said about economics. That the wars that we face with Europeans about economics, if that was the case, then they would not have committed genocide and exterminated the Native Americans, because that was not necessarily financially beneficial. As a matter of fact, it cost them tremendous amounts of money to do that. They did it for the same reason Elijah Mohammad said they do it. It's their nature. If we look at Black Wall Street, they didn't make any money destroying all those businesses. They could have just killed us and taken those businesses. The reason that Europeans do what Europeans do is because it's in their nature. And there's nothing that's going to change that except black aggression. And the problem with African people is that we want Europeans to be something other than what they are. We want to see them through the light of who we are and the way we view the world. The only thing Europeans do on planet Earth is systematically go throughout the planet, identify other races, pillage their resources, and commit genocide. They did it to the Native Americans. They tried to do it to the Asians with the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And these things don't always make money for them, are not always financially beneficial. It's not necessarily financially beneficial for them to lock brothers up and commit genocide. They make a business out of it, but they can make just as much money with us out here being gainfully employed. The reality of it, this is a sick, demented race that exterminates people on planet Earth. And at some point, we got to stop taking the discussions away from that and be realistic. We got to fight. And that's what it boils down to.